31st, 2017, presented by SportsbookReview.com. Be your host tonight, Donnie Wright's had a lot to go over here and uncover. NFL trade deadline kicks off, and what a surprising day it was for us as a Philadelphia Eagles fan. I can't be any more pleased than with type of haul we came back with Jay Ajayi not giving up too much in a fourth-round draft pick. We're going to cover all those topics and more here in just a few moments here on the closing line. Big Man on Campus joins me every single Tuesday. He'll be in here in just a few moments. Major League Baseball Game 6 of the World Series. Maction kicks off tonight. You also have NHL hockey and also NBA basketball. Also, one of my favorite parts of the show tonight is with me and the Big Man. We're going to take a look at some NCAA football wagers and some chances for this weekend in our NCAA 5-pack. We'll also take a look at some NFL action if we have some time left over, folks. But if you haven't done so far, please check out SBRodds.com. Also, follow us on Twitter at SBR Sports Picks, and also right here on YouTube. Hit the subscribe button there. Get the notifications every single time we go live. Get that notification. Dip in here to the live chat box. We can certainly have some fun. If you're looking to get some action down on some games, go to SportsbookReview.com. Everything is laid out simple for you there. Get the bonuses that fit you there. Look at all the grade guidelines there that we have for each and every sportsbook there offshore. No better place to go than sportsbookreview.com. I don't want to wait any further here. The resident host every Tuesday here right on the closing line. The Big Man on Campus, Jeff Nadeau. Give him a follow on Twitter at Jeff Nadeau. One of my best friends in this business. Obviously, you see us here each and every day on the right side of campus. Big Man, let's get it started today. Fun day today, man.
Yeah, and we got to see Jennifer Lopez in that beautiful ensemble with her boyfriend, Alex Rodriguez. I don't know who looked better in that magazine, Donnie, but we'll leave that to a guess.
Yeah, it looked like he was had the hand on the boudoir, so to speak, pulling it aside like
Looking
he was
good.
the man. I mean, hey, that's A-Rod getting busy. Must be nice when you have all that money you can mess around with, and J-Lo, who I don't know what her age is, but she looks like she's still 25 at this point.
I got to tell you, man, I would put him in the Hall of Fame just after that today. That was pretty impressive. And by the way, Donnie, Jennifer Lopez is 48 years old.
That's amazing, man. Hey, man, we got that. I guess it's that Puerto Rican skin that keeps you, that Latina skin that keeps as long as you get everything taken care of, get the creams,
Donnie, I love African American women, but over the last couple of years, where I live, there are Puerto Rican girls everywhere. Colombians, Cubans, nothing better. Nothing better.
No, and yeah, it's some interesting pictures that come out, and people are saying like, "Hey, man, you can that's the type of stuff, Jeff. That good PR that A-Rod has there. Good-looking girl and Jennifer Lopez. Why not make him the manager of your New York Yankees at this point, Jeff?"
Hey, if she's around the clubhouse more, I wouldn't mind that.
No, it's definitely interesting, but a lot to talk about here, Jeff. And just watching, the timeline here on Twitter was exciting. Right when I woke up, I saw the Philadelphia Eagles traded for Jay Ajayi, the running back that we needed, another playmaker to go along with Carson Wentz as we make our push into the NFC playoffs, see if we can hold down that first seed, second seed, maybe get a bye, maybe make a run to the Super Bowl. It's all right here in front of us. A couple interesting trades that did go down and did not go down, Jeff. Before we get to those topics, I do want to take a moment and say, you know what? If I had, some alcoholic beverages, maybe a 40, maybe a cocktail here, I would raise it to the Cleveland Browns for making a trade and forgetting to call into the league in time for the trade to actually go down. Jeff, is there a more inept franchise out there than the Cleveland Browns at this point?
No, I don't believe so. I mean, leave it to them to screw up a trade. I mean, I'm not sure that there's anything they do right. It's, but I'm sure analytics told them to wait to the last minute. For whatever reason, maybe they felt they'd get luckier. I don't know. Analytics maybe told them to do that, and it didn't work out. So, yeah, I don't know.
First of all, yeah. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, now let me get this straight with their analytics and their picks, Jeff, and, what they're looking to do. So you don't want Deshaun Watson. You don't want Carson Wentz because you like picks, but the deal was a second and a third rounder for McCarron after you spent a second rounder on Kaiser, and you might even draft another quarterback this year. Can somebody explain to me the baseball front office? And I mean, this is I think they have like a 5-man starting staff. Like we need 5 quarterbacks, a la like the Dodgers or like the Houston Astros. Is that what they look at? Paul DePodesta playing baseball instead of football here?
I don't know. I don't really seem to understand anything they do. The one thing that they just make your head go crazy. I mean, what do you? I don't know. I guess they want a veteran. I don't know. I'm not sure. I have no idea. I'm almost kind of, if I'm a Browns fan, I'm almost kind of happy that didn't go through. Might as well just let them. I don't know. They're a hard team to figure out, Donnie. I don't understand it at all.
Like Jeff, like if you let's put it into equation for like the 49ers, right? The 49ers gave up a number 2 pick. I mean, Cleveland sucks, so does the 49ers. So it's not like saying, well, the pick's going to be way better on one side. They go out and get Garoppolo, who we've seen play, who's matured in the system. And again, I know I heard the Matt Castles and, everybody who comes out of there, Ryan Mallett. But it looks like Jimmy G is actually a pretty good quarterback. So if you take a flyer on him, you spend the second-round pick, say, you know what we got here. A.J. McCarron, to me, is not nearly the quarterback that Jimmy Garoppolo is. And then you're going to spend a 2 and a 3 to try to get McCarron?
Yeah.
It's just like I wish sometimes the fans in Cleveland could just get into the front office and make all the decisions for those knuckleheads over there, because I can't understand their flow. Do you want a lot of picks, but you want to spend picks, but you want to draft 100 quarterbacks and waste those picks? I feel bad. I know you always say, Jeff, well, they got the Cleveland Cavaliers to fall back on, but the Browns fans want good football, and they never get it, ever.
Well, again, though, this is the difference between, an organization starting to really look up in the 49ers and a team that's run by people that don't know what they're doing. John Lynch seemingly keeps making decent moves. Jimmy Garoppolo might have some. They're not a bad defense, Donnie. I don't think they are. I think they have plenty of playmakers on defense. If they could start to just pick out pieces, I don't think it'll be long till the 49ers are a pretty decent team. Garoppolo's a pretty good quarterback. I think he'll have some success out there with Kyle Shanahan, and they just need some weapons on that team. And I got to tell you, I think you look into maybe next year. I don't think they're that far off. I know they haven't won a game this year, which is interesting, but they have no quarterback play. They have no weapons. I think if they go out and get a high level receiver in the draft or in free agency, and they surround Hyde with another weapon, and they do some things on defense. They're not that far off, I don't think, and they're run by decent people. That's the difference between them and the Browns.
Yeah, no, you're right, because when you look at the 49ers as a whole, I didn't like their actual move to get John Lynch and just take him out of the booth and into the front office. But it's a little bit different because John Lynch, been there, done that. He knows football. He was a tough-ass football player for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Putting him in there, he's going to look for toughness, and he knows what to look for in players because he's been there before. Flip it over to the Cleveland Browns. You have a guy who graduated Harvard as your GM, who's a lawyer, and then you bring in a complete baseball staff with analytics. It's like if that was Philadelphia right now, Jeff. Like if we had Sashi Brown and we had Paul DePodesta as our GM assistant, we would be losing our minds. There would be torches and pitchforks down at the NovaCare complex if that was taking place. And in a city, Jeff, that loves football. It's not Jacksonville. You know what I mean? It's not like, we'll just go to the beach or something like that. Like, that's a city that loves its football, and they just continue to drive a stake in the heart of the fan base.
And now here's what happens, Donnie. You're really at the point where you may have the ability to have the number 1 pick. Let's say you go out and get a Saquon Barkley. Him and Carlos Hyde, you're going to get a top 3 pick. Unless the Browns. I think the Browns will end up winning a game at some point. They have a bright future, I think, much more than the Browns, if you ask me.
Yeah, it should be interesting to find out. The other one I want to talk about, Jeff, which happened at supposedly 3:57 or 3:55, but wasn't posted to Adam Schefter till well after 4 o'clock, was the trading of Kelvin Benjamin to the Buffalo Bills. Not to say Benjamin, Jeff, is the end-all, be-all and the greatest wide receiver in the league. He's a legitimate threat. They give up a 3 and a 7, but my question is not so much, Jeff, from the Bills actually making a trade for a wide receiver, saying, you know what? I know the guy. I was the defensive coordinator down there. GM was down there as well. We know what Kelvin Benjamin's going to bring. Let's bring him in here. We can make a push to the playoffs. Fans are excited. Why not? Why not go do it? He's still a young wide receiver. But from the opposite side of the coin, Jeff, for Carolina, who's limited as all get out on offense as it is with Greg Olsen not back yet, you take away your best threat there. They can't run the football or don't run it effectively already. I don't understand the mindset of Cam Newton right now. I don't know if he didn't dislike Kelvin Benjamin or Kelvin Benjamin was just off his rocker every day. I'm not inside the locker room there, but from a competitive standpoint, where if you're the Carolina Panthers, you're looking to make the playoffs, maybe even win the division, you have a great defense. What was the point of trading him away, getting back draft picks, and now you're still limited on offense? I didn't see the point of that.
I have no idea. This is the oddest, one of the odder NFL trade deadline moves I've seen, especially for a team that's still very much alive in the playoff hunt. I mean, I don't get this at all. I mean, I guess they're high on Curtis Samuel. He has 7 catches this year. I mean, I don't get this move. I don't understand it. You have no run game really. And this goes to show you, Cam Newton pretty much, I guess, runs that locker room. Cam Newton might be the problem. I don't know if it's Devin or Kelvin Benjamin. I don't know. You're right, but it seems like Cam Newton's starting to have that LeBron James, kind of mantra. He'll go in and it's his team. He does what he wants. Difference here is LeBron James is LeBron James. Cam Newton's a good player. He's not a guy that should decide what the organization does or doesn't do. Kelvin Benjamin is a good player, has 32 catches, and he didn't even play in a game or two. So, yeah, I don't get it. Bills get richer. They go out and make a move, don't really lose much in the process. And that's why the Carolina Panthers won't ever win a Super Bowl because they, in times like these, screw it up and, move on from a player they shouldn't. There's no explanation here. I don't care if your locker room, you sit down and you hash something out. You don't act like idiots, which I'm sure Cam Newton tried to do here. Cam Newton ruining this team, I guess. It's nothing. Does this have anything to do with his play on the field, Donnie? No, it doesn't. There's no legitimate reason to do this unless Cam Newton has a problem with him, and obviously Cam Newton has some kind of problem with him.
Yeah, it's just a real interesting thing because I mean, Samuel, who I like the versatility that they went out and got McCaffrey and Samuel. Samuel looks like he's just not ready to be an NFL player, and
No.
I haven't seen that much out of McCaffrey other than catching 3-yard outs and having 7 catches in a game for like 50 yards. The burst isn't there. They don't run the football well. They're not melding them in because you would figure, Jeff, when you have those type of switchblade type weapons with McCaffrey, Samuel, Kelvin Benjamin, Funchess, and you get Olsen, you say, you know what? That has the makings of a pretty good offense if we can get it right. Just seems they haven't gotten it right, and now they're going to put more on the plate maybe of Samuel or expect Funchess to step up. I know Olsen's going to be back in a couple weeks, but just a weird thing because, again, Jeff, we're not talking about the 2-5 Panthers. Like, this team is set up to make a run down the stretch and a really good defense if they stay healthy. I was just baffled by that overall, just from a competitive standpoint. Getting back, I mean, hey, it's great. You got back a 3rd-round draft pick. Well, you drafted Kelvin Benjamin, 25th overall? It doesn't make sense to me at all.
Yeah, from a Bills point of view, you add Kelvin Benjamin, he hits on the right side. You still have Jordan Matthews as your receiver on the left. I mean, he's more of a slot receiver, I think, and I think we all would agree with. But no, look, I mean, they have Zay Jones still. They drafted him last year. They have a good run game. Tyrod Taylor's playing well. They're all of a sudden looking like they're going to go for it here. I still think they're a team that needs to. They need to keep it going. They need to be consistent, which they have been. Still a long season to go. You have the Patriots there, so you really have to get into that wild card, and you have to. You're going to have the odds stacked against you. Again, I like what they're doing. It helps them, and they didn't have to give up much to get it. So good move.
Yeah, interesting. I mean, that'll shut down the trade deadline. A lot of interesting stuff came out. But again, from an Eagles standpoint, I'm pretty happy with it. Heading into the weekend versus the Denver Broncos and then heading into the bye week. The one thing that's real interesting to keep an eye on, Jeff, is this whole Ezekiel Elliott thing. I don't get it. Maybe it's – can you imagine, like, if you're on trial for a murder or you're just on trial, like – the judge slams the gavel and says you're going to jail, and then you pay your lawyer, and he comes up with a piece of paper that keeps you out of jail, and then you're guilty again, you're going to jail, and then a piece of paper says you're not going to jail. The whole legal process from, like, the NFLPA and the NFL standpoint is just baffling to me, where you level down a suspension, but you're allowed to keep playing. It's like, the murderer that goes to jail. Like, doesn't he stay in jail, and then he can appeal while he's still in jail? I don't understand, like, what's going on. Like, I see the latest, they're like, oh, well, they filed this or that. Like, is he out? Is he in? Like, what's the story here?
Yeah, I mean, the thing here is then that's what you get for being a celebrity, really. I mean, he's basically out on bail, like they would say. I mean, I don't know why he continues to get to play. I don't really understand that. Like, if a criminal does something, he's not going to get to hang out at his house until they decide what they're going to do. He's arrested, and they have to prove he's not, guilty or not guilty. Yeah, it's interesting for sure. But the appeal process, you can exhaust as many as you have, and then you got to face music. We talked about it earlier, Donnie. Ezekiel Elliott really has to realize: does he want to admit that he did something wrong and take this as the punishment that he's going to get, or does he want to keep fighting? And again, I guess if he doesn't think he did this, then he should keep fighting. But at the end of the day, he needs to just understand that he's not going to win this probably. So he probably just needs to accept it. And if you're the Cowboys, I like what you said. Why don't you just do this at the beginning? Take the 6 games, and then you're available for the stretch run. Now, in week 9, you have the possibility of him being out the next 6 games. That's the big part of the season here coming up. You're not going to have him in. It just doesn't make a lot of sense for me. He should just accept that he's not going to prison, because a lot of us would be in his situation. So he should just count his lucky stars that he's been able to continue to earn. He's been able to continue to play, and he's not going to have to face criminal charges or anything. So I would just take what he can get at this point.
Yeah, you get the stay of execution when you're on Murderer's Row. You don't get to go home, have a steak dinner, and hang out with a couple girls and have some beers over the next couple weeks while they decide if you're going to get put to death or not. It's just a weird whole legality. And I guess, Jeff, it all comes down to when you have money, like the NFLPA does, like the NFL players do, you can just exhaust this process as long as you want and just keep stringing it along. But sooner or later, it's going to come to bite you. It looks like it finally has, but who knows? Like, I mean, he's guilty. He's out. They need to stay. It's not going to help him. Like, I don't think he's even allowed to play this weekend because they can't rule on it fast enough. It's just a whole mess out there, which I was the Dallas Cowboys. I think they messed it and bungled it from the beginning, because same thing with Tom Brady before, Jeff. If Ezekiel Elliott comes out and just says, look, man, look, get in the room. He's like, I didn't do it. I didn't do it. And Jerry Jones says, it doesn't matter if you did it. They're going to give you 6 games. Why don't we go up there? We're going to plead it down. Let's get a 4th. Let's accept guilt. Move on. You'll be back by week 5. We'll make a playoff run. Everybody will be happy. But you continually want to have this fight, and now it's going to bite you in the middle of the season, which, again, as an Eagles fan, love it. We're not going to probably have to play against him in Dallas after the bye, and who knows if Dallas is even in it by the time week 15, 16 rolls around when we get them at home again to close out the NFL season. So interesting stuff here from the NFL, Jeff, but we do have some live games we certainly want to talk about tonight. One in Major League Baseball, Game 6 of the World Series, 9-11, 9-12, Verlander and Hill on the mound. Jeff, from the last time we spoke, looks like the line's continuing to go higher on the side of the Los Angeles Dodgers. Pinnacle opened up at -105. Chris opened up at -106. Now Chris is showing a -130. CG Technologies, -132. Bet Online, -129. Some money coming in here on the Dodgers, Jeff.
Yeah, actually, I moved on it a little bit ago, and I got a little bit better of a line. I think I got like 125-ish. But yeah, no, money's been coming in on the Dodgers. I think people are kind of thinking like we are. I think this is going to go 7. I like Rich Hill at home. I think he's a pitcher that this is who you want at home. He's pitched well at home all year. They're going to go all out for this. I mean, the starter in this game for the Dodgers, I don't know that it matters a whole lot. I mean, they're going to throw out anyone they can here in this game, to pitch here, whether it be, whoever. And that's what the starters mean a whole lot. You have Verlander's hittable on the road, but he's been so good with the Houston Astros. It's hard to envision he'll do anything wrong here. But obviously, they have the bullpen edge. They're at home. They don't lose much at home, Donnie. And look, Houston, can they win on the road? I mean, they struggled against the Yankees on the road. They've struggled in this series on the road. For me, I just kind of think this one's going to go 7. There's not a ton to really break down, Donnie, when you're looking at World Series games. But for me, I've said this game is going 7. I think it's going to. I think the Dodgers get the job done tonight.
Yeah, I would lean on the Dodgers as well. I mean, more pressure. The team needs it. But you're right. At this time of the year, there's not so much you're going to break down between. We know Verlander's a good pitcher, Jeff. We know Rich Hill's a good pitcher. We know both of these teams can hit. What gives in this situation? Life and death for the Dodgers here tonight. Not to say, Jeff, that Houston's going to come in this game like, hey, let's see what happens. Hey, if we don't win, no big deal. We can play again the next day. I just think the Dodgers finally getting back home here in their home environment, some home cooking there. Maybe get some good umpiring for once. It's going to call some balls and strikes. I would lean on the Dodgers, and I think it's a cheap line as well. -133. You're not laying -180 here because they have to win. You're just going to press it down. I know how good Verlander has been, but I think the Dodgers might jump up and grab it, and I'm looking forward to it. Like, I want a Game 7 in Major League Baseball. I'll watch that same thing. I'll be tuned in tonight along with some action that we'll go over. I would lean Los Angeles Dodgers. The one thing that's interesting here, Jeff, I don't really have a great feel on the over-under for the game. It's sitting at 7.5, which sounds about right. With these two type of ball clubs, Jeff, I just would imagine that they can probably hit the baseball. And it's like the NFL. It's like action. When that line is like 7.5 and 8, you just tend to lean over because both of these teams can hit the baseball.
Yeah, and it's interesting. Young Jeezy's bringing up an opinion. I actually made this opinion on the betcast that we did the other night. We were watching this game live, and this Dodger bullpen's been shit in this series, Donnie. I mean, they haven't been good at all. I mean, they've given up. I mean, they've blown a couple saves. I mean, they just haven't looked good at all. I mean, Maeda gave up a big home run the other night. I don't want to see Brandon Morrow anywhere near this game or Josh Fields. You're totally right there, GZ. I agree with him. I just think overall, Donnie, I depend more on the Dodgers than I would on Houston's bullpen. I just think they're overall better. They had the day off yesterday. You're going to see some starting pitchers here. You'll see a Brandon McCarthy, guys like that coming into this game. So, yeah, I trust their bullpen more than I trust Houston. As far as a total, yeah, I mean, I think we look at the last game and say to ourselves, I mean, the way these teams have hit home runs with the power that these teams have, it's hard to bet unders, Donnie, when you have Houston in front of you. I mean,
Yeah.
I know they struggled against the Yankees, but in this series, I mean, home run after home run, it's hard to bet unders. But for me, I'm gonna stick with the Dodgers. I think they get the job done here. They've been so dominating at home all year, Donnie. It's really going to be a sad day when baseball ends because I remember we did so many shows during the summer with the Dodgers. I mean, how dominating they were. It's nice to see they're here at the end, and I think they're going to win this series. I think they're going to win tonight, and I trust them in Game 7 to win as well.
Now, I would like to say it. Like, I'm rooting for the Dodgers. I haven't bet the Dodgers yet, but I'll probably end up laying a little bit down just because I want to see that Game 7 and give me something to root for here for us. So we'll get into some action here, Jeff, tonight. 2 games on the docket, Bowling Green, Kent State. Miami of Ohio versus Ohio. Surfing around right here, trying to get some updates. I see people on Twitter. Is Gus Ragland playing? Any updates on Gus Ragland? Is Gus Ragland playing tonight? Jason Arkley from the Athens Messenger tonight says, no such luck with a tweet from Miami quarterback Gus Ragland. I expect him to play, but he's been out since the loss to Bowling Green earlier in the month. So that's a beat writer at the football game actually expecting Gus Ragland to play tonight. But again, folks, if this is the MAC, we know better than this. We see people warm up out there who aren't playing, or they're the emergency 3 quarterback. I wouldn't pay too much attention to that, but obviously that's what live gambling is for. If that second game on the docket that starts at 8 o'clock tonight, 3:03, 3:04, between the Red Hawks and the Bobcats in that one, if you think Ragland's going to play, that's a huge, huge difference for Miami of Ohio. But then again, Jeff, let's get back into the realm. We saw Tyree Jackson over the weekend with Buffalo. He did play in that game. He wasn't the same player. They did pull out the victory by 1 point, but just because a guy's coming back, this isn't, Jeff, he hurt his hip a little bit or, sprained his ankle. This is a knee injury. He's had problems with his knees. If we're taking a look at that game, we'll get to Bowling Green, Kent State in a minute. Miami of Ohio sitting right now at 10, dropping a little bit to 9.5, over under 52.5, 53.5, depending where he's shopping at. Heavy Ohio action with 83% of the tickets tonight in that ball game. Should be a cool weather condition game, but Jeff, only about 3 to 4 mile an hour winds, so you should be able to pass the football. But that Ragland injury information, really key here, Jeff.
Yeah, I mean, look, if he plays or if he doesn't, I don't know he's going to be 100%. And for a team like Miami of Ohio, I mean, even with when he was in there, they didn't play particularly well. They just had a tough year. I mean, it would be nice to get him back, sure, but if he's not healthy, I don't know that you're going to see the backup anyway, Billy Ball at some point. Look, I like Miami, or I like Miami. I thought they'd be a team that would really kind of push for this side of the MAC this year, but they just haven't played well. Defensively, they haven't been that good. I like Ohio in this one. I like what they've done. They're 5-1 as a favorite this year, 6-2 against the spread overall. They've owned this team over the last couple of years. 10 points combined over the last 2 games they've given up. They have a really good offense all of a sudden, Donnie. It's not the musical chairs at quarterback with Ohio. They're well coached, and they have 2 running backs that are really high level, a really good front 7. I just don't know that Miami of Ohio can exploit Ohio's pass defense. They're not a particularly good pass defense, but an up-tempo team gives Ohio trouble. Even a team like Kansas. Kansas is not a good football team, but they're up-tempo. They can throw the ball around. Teams like that give Ohio trouble. UMass gave them trouble. Miami of Ohio is not that kind of team. They're a run-in, kind of pound the football type of team. They don't really have the ability to throw downfield. I just don't think they can exploit Ohio here. I would lay the number. I think they'll end up pulling away towards this one. I don't know that Ragland will be much of a factor. And Donnie, one other thing. At home this year, Ohio giving up 14.7 points a game. That's enough for me here. I think they go and they win this one 34-17, something like that. I think they pull away and cover.
Heath Harding, one of the better cornerbacks for Miami, has been out a couple weeks here, coming back, says, can't wait to take the field tomorrow Halloween against OU. Jason Arkley retweets that and says it looks like Miami's standout cornerback will play tonight versus the Ohio Bobcats. So getting a little bit of reinforcements back in this game. How much is that going to help? We'll see. I know I've always liked Chuck Martin as a head football coach, and I like the way Miami plays. I think it's a little too much points there. If you're going to give me 10 points in this game, I still would lean on Miami, Ohio in this one. If you're getting Ragland back, that's going to be a bonus. But again, I don't have a great feel. I don't think these two games tonight are exactly in my wheelhouse, even though I do love the MAC, Jeff. Let's flip it over to 301, 302. Another 8 o'clock starts. I got dueling 8 o'clock starts here in the MAC on Halloween. Bowling Green and Kent State. 70% of the tickets, Jeff, lining up here on Bowling Green. Line opened up at about 1.5. Currently sitting at 2.5, depending on where you're shopping. The Greek showing up at -3 plus 100. We stated it early on the right side of campus, Jeff. Not as much has changed for me in the way of this ball game. It just comes down to me. I'm more comfortable with Bowling Green's offense than I am with Kent State. Kent State does have the better team overall on defense. Yes. Kent State is at home. Yes. But George Bolus is at quarterback. It's one of those things where I don't trust their offense enough. I know Bowling Green's defense isn't that good, but when you watch Kent State operate, it's like, and we talk the same joke, Jeff. When they get a first down, they're like, damn, nice drive and possession. That's not the way you're supposed to go about betting there. I know there's sharp money coming in on Kent State. I don't know how sharp money on Kent State can be. I just don't think they're a good football team. I would lean on Bowling Green early in this game, Jeff.
Yeah, I definitely hear what you're saying. I guess you just look at Kent State and I say to myself, they should be able to move the ball against Bowling Green. They should, but again, like we've talked about, it is Kent State. I mean, they're only averaging about 10 points a game over the last 8 games, giving up 33 in that time. So, yeah, look, you're definitely laying down. And at this number, at 3, I kind of like Kent State. You're getting that field goal at home in a game that could be close. It wouldn't surprise me if, it's decided by a field goal. But, the truth of the matter is even against like a Howard, Kent State struggled. I mean, they had trouble putting that game away, really, Donnie. They got shut out against Marshall. Buffalo, they couldn't do anything against. I mean, they are a bad football team. I mean, there's no other way to slice it. And Bowling Green, Donnie, has faced a tough schedule overall. The gimme game they had against South Dakota, they didn't lose, but every other game has been pretty tough for the most part. At 3, I was more interested in Kent State. At this number, just don't have any opinion on it. I still think Kent State will play decent here. But I do like the run game for Bowling Green. I'm just not sure that I trust them defensively. They can really make anyone look good on the offensive side. They don't get off the field on 3rd down. For me, it's a pass. The only football opinion I have tonight would be on Ohio. I think they get the job done. And, Donnie, I do want to point one other thing out in that game. I mean, we do need to remember it's Gus Ragland. We're not talking about, Tom Brady here. I mean, let's
Yeah, but he's a really good
Gus
quarterback,
Ragland.
though. He was really good last year before he got injured.
Percentage, Donnie. That's not that good.
No, I know, but
completion.
he's a lot better than what they had behind them. The one thing is when you look at Ohio games, I mean, unless they're playing inferior talent, they're going to give up some yardage. They're going to give up some points in this one. I like Miami's going to get their middle linebacker back, and it looks like they're starting cornerback as well. I just think it's a lot. If you're giving me, like, if Ohio's 4.5 or 6.5 in this one, it would be a little bit different, but they're going to have to win by over double digits, 14 points to knock them out. Can they do it? Sure. And again, I don't have a great read on the game. Sometimes I just like to take the points. And again, if I'm going to get Ragland back at quarterback, I'll lean on that.
Yeah, I mean, the one other thing I want to also point out, he's been sacked 14 times, Gus Ragland. They need to do a better job protecting Gus Ragland. And if he's injured or something, you really need to take care of him. It's just you're really kind of messing with a person that, could go out right away, Donnie. I mean, one little tweak of that knee, I mean, it could get ugly. And in a game like this, you wonder how valid he is. Is he just wanting to get in there because it's against a good team and it's a big game? How healthy is he? I don't want to bet on that. I'll take the team that I think can cover and will cover. Been great at home. Give me Ohio.
And you're right, Jeff. These are guesses out here. Like, nobody's saying that he's actually even going to play in this football game.
Right.
They're saying, I expect him to, or I might. I mean, we've seen it all the time. Hey, bet this football game. I always just take it back to, like, Buffalo. Like, Buffalo's best running back, one of their best running backs in school history, Jonathan Hawkins. I'm betting on them versus FAU, and I see him in a T-shirt on the sideline on the second drive of the game. And I just hold your head and go, there was nothing about this all week. He didn't have an injury. Now it's just undisclosed, and he's out for the year. And you just have to do a chuckle because when you hear this stuff, a lot of the times you're going on a hunch. The same thing a couple weeks ago, Jeff, when I bet UMass over Georgia Southern. Didn't matter what happened, but Andrew Ford didn't even play in the football game. Comas was the quarterback starting. I'm going, Where did this come from? It's
Well,
college
they
football. There's
actually,
no regulation. Crazy.
yeah, they go back and forth between Comus and Ford. They did it the other day too. Yeah, but the MAC in basketball and football are
Oh,
notorious for these late injury things. They do that a lot. There's just not a lot of oversight with that. And they don't have a great job of beat writers. They don't do a great job really. There's a couple good ones, but overall, it's not a particularly good conference for injuries.
then again, football is fun because you have all week to get ready for it. The one thing I do love about college basketball, because we're junkies, like we're on the air every day. We're talking college basketball on and off the air, sending DMs to each other, Jeff. The one thing I'm looking forward to college basketball is how many times do we get that, like, that scoop real quick, like, by the way, these four players for Miami of Ohio in basketball are going to get suspended for the game. I mean, those are the fun days, man. Or Bowling Green, who I think it was Bowling Green that had the four players suspended at once, and you just jump all over that stuff. It's like when you do what we do, we have the privilege of, staying home. We have all our monitors and all our services that you can just tap into. And the moment it happens there, you can dig through information real quick. We're not in a truck somewhere. We're not sitting at a desk, in the office. That's the one fun thing because college basketball is nonstop 7 days a week with information coming out, injuries, who's suspended, who's not going to play. It's a lot of fun. I look forward to going there. But that was just a little thing that finding with MAC football,
Yeah.
transitioning over to MAC basketball, helter skelter sometimes with that stuff.
Yeah, I often of Donnie, many know I had a regular job, when I first started doing this. When I really started handicapping, I had a regular job. And I did it for a while and I was there and I wasn't happy and it was just like, why am I doing this anymore? And then, it'll be a year, November here where I haven't went to a job every day. And I'm gonna tell you this, if you're in this business and you're serious about it and you're taking advantage of doing what you're doing and you want to be a person that bets for a living or is involved with that, you have to do it every day. You can't have a regular job. I don't think it's possible really. You have to be able to watch games, Donnie. You have to be able to, be available to watch a game until late or watch a game overnight and not sleep as much. Because let's be real, we're not extending ourselves when we do this. You got to be able to watch March Madness and not have to go to work. You have to be able to, you know, to not be in a truck and get it. For me, I don't think it's possible. If people can do it, that's great. I think it's tough to do. I think it is tough to do, and if you're serious, I think you got to consider just doing it. You worked a regular job, Donnie. It's tough when you're working a regular job to get a game in. Maybe a customer comes up or this or that. You have to be fully indebted to it. I feel like.
Yeah, no, I mean, I've always had the laptop open at work and, the phone and stuff had a little leeway being your own business owner, so to speak. But yeah, you're right. I mean, you're caught up. It's real busy. Next thing you know, you take a look at your phone. Oh, those two guys were suspended. Huh. The line was 4. Now it's 1. You missed out. At least now we
Yeah.
have a little bit more of leeway on this. Somebody asked me out there, Donnie, what time you trick or treating? Well, kids out with the wife trick or treating around the neighborhood, so I was able to duck down and get the show going. I did cheat a little bit though, big man. I put the big basket out front on the step. So, and there's knucklehead kids. I was a knucklehead kid that did that. They ain't taking 1 or 2 pieces, Jeff. They're probably damn near emptying the entire bowl and running away and hope nobody looked at it, though, right?
Yeah, kids knock on my door. I don't even answer. I'm busy.
What are you going to hand them over there, Jeff? Here's that. Give them the business cards, man. BMOC, drop it in there. Hey, look, trick or treat. What can you give me? Look, is your dad back there? Yeah, my
Hey,
dad's
kid.
right back there. Hey, buddy, Bowling Green. Take him. Good luck.
Yeah, tell your dad when you get home. Take Bowling Green -2 tonight. Yeah, no,
Exactly. I'll cover it.
when I have in South Philly when I lived there, like I would give stuff out, but I live in like a building almost, so it's just I don't know, I'm busy. I'm doing stuff. Uh, Move
Yeah,
on.
no, it's nice weather up here too. A little bit cooler, but certainly still nice and
Yeah.
still waiting for that winter weather. It was nice to get a little bit cooler weather back in here. We'll see if that finally switches gears up here. But Jeff, let's take a look. Got a couple games here we want to take a look at in NCAA football this weekend. Some opening lines just to pick your brain on a couple of these. 337, 338. Iowa State and West Virginia. One team fresh off of a beatdown. One team fresh off of a massive victory upset over TCU. That would be Iowa State. 60% of the early wagers coming in here, Jeff, on Iowa State. Line opened up at -2.5. Still staying around that -2.5 range for the home team, the West Virginia Mountaineers. Over under coming in, opening up around 61. Chris opened that up at actually 64.5, but I'm seeing 59s and 60s across the board, Jeff. What are we looking at in this Big 12 battle here?
Yeah, this is really interesting, and I think this is the week where you're going to see a lot of people fading West Virginia, and I don't buy into that. Iowa State has done a great job. They really have. Campbell's been great. But this is a real tough spot going on the road off such a big win at home. You got to go on the road to Morgantown. You should see optimal weather here. West Virginia has had some games this year. They have not had good weather. That TCU game that was weather involved, the game the other day had weather involved. If you're going to see optimal weather conditions here, I really like West Virginia in this game. I think they're going to be really in a good spot here against a team off of a big win, let down a little bit. The whole world's going to open up to Iowa State. West Virginia, they've struggled. They turn the ball over. They can't play any defense. Truth of the matter is, this team, West Virginia, really good offensively. I just at some point I wonder when are they going to get shredded. I don't know that I believe in Iowa State's defense. Kenny Hill was really poor last week. He just wasn't very good. I think Will Greer will be much better against this team. This is really a high level offense. I mean, Justin Crawford in the backfield. I think they're really going to get tested. And I got to tell you, I kind of like the over in this game too. I think Iowa State will be able to move the ball, but I think this is for me more of a fate of the public. I think they're all going to be all over Iowa State here. People are down on West Virginia after some of the performances we've seen out of them. But at the end of the day, Donnie, a lot of performances have been against really good teams. Lost to TCU by 7, lost to Oklahoma State. They were in that game for most of it in poor weather. This is just a letdown on the road. I'm going to fade Iowa State here. I think West Virginia is the sharp side here. I think they win. I think they win by 7 to 10 points all over West Virginia here in a letdown against Iowa State.
How about the last 3 games for Iowa State, Jeff? Looking at Kansas, they shut them out. Texas Tech, they held Texas Tech to 13 points, and then holding Trill Hill and the boys to 7 points in an upset winner in that one. Talk about Iowa State, Matt Campbell and that team just coming on lately. So you're going to go – it is a low number. When you look at Iowa State on the road at West Virginia, under 3 points is kind of shocking, but I can see your point there where you might be leaning West Virginia just as a value standpoint. But Iowa State's really turned the corner here.
Yeah, the thing though with like all the wins that they have, okay, like you look at Texas Tech, they held them to 13 points. But Texas Tech is so one-dimensional, Donnie. I mean, they don't run the ball at all. They just throw. They've had, they're just kind of a team where if you can really just kind of do it kind of like TCU does, where they set robber over the top and just keep safeties back, you can really shut that down. I don't know if they'll be able to do it against West Virginia. They might be, but this is not really an X and O game for me, Donnie. This is just more of a letdown spot for me. I think you got to go on the road after such a big win. You storm the field, all that kind of thing. I just think this is a tough spot for Iowa State. It's really betting against them.
You have any thoughts on the over-under in that one, Jeff? 59.5. Whenever you hear West Virginia, it typically means over, but Iowa State's been playing some good defense lately. Are we looking to be trigger happy in this game or just going to be one of those, slugfest that's going to be played into the 20s?
Yeah, I'm one to think it's played into the 30s. I haven't had a good read on totals, Donnie, lately. They've really been my downfall in college football. I've just had a lot of bad luck with a lot of them. I bet an over and, you know, there's a quarter of no scoring, or I feel like when I bet an under, it's a sharp play and somehow it goes over, and the ops, you know what I mean? It's just kind of I've just had a lot of bad juju with overs with certain games, particularly in the Big 12. So for me, I'm going to avoid that. But this is for me, like I said, do I think Iowa State's an impressive team? Sure, I do. Matt Campbell's done a lot of great things there, but I just think off such a big win, Morgantown, it'll be rabid there. Really, really exciting. I think they go in and get the job done. West Virginia wins and covers.
Jeff, by the way, we're down in Costa Rica with the I don't even say invention, but the bet box phenomenon down there, which is really impressive. I've been to Las Vegas. I've been to many gambling places throughout the United States. But the bet box, Jeff, one of the better inventions that I've seen, and I can't wait, is what I should say, if gambling is legalized nationally. Can you imagine going into a Wawa, a Sheetz, a Heritages, wherever you guys are, Quick Checks, whatever might be out there, and just picking up a sandwich, maybe getting something to drink, and right next to the ATM machine is a bet box that you punch in your wager, and it's, completely legal right through the state, and just go out with your ticket. I can't wait for it, Jeff. I just can't.
The hypocrisy of this country and their sports leagues against betting and gambling is one of the more amazing things you'll ever see. I mean, it's just the hypocritical points that they try to make just make no sense. And this country is so far behind with sports betting. I mean, as you know, Donnie, I talk to a lot of people in England all the time, and I mean, you can literally bet anywhere there. You can bet on anything, anywhere, anytime. And you're grown up on gambling. Everything's gambling. And that's how life is, Donnie. I mean, we should be able to bet. I mean, we're able to bet on greyhounds. You can bet on horses. And we continue to talk about, oh, well, it'll affect the integrity of the league. So why are you putting a fucking football team in Las Vegas then? Why are you allowing it at all? If it's really going to affect the integrity, then you shouldn't have it anywhere. It's safer if it's regulated and legalized. For me, Donnie, where we live, you can pretty much gamble whenever you want. I mean, I can go into a store
Hmm.
right now and gamble if I want. But
Yeah.
it would be cool to where you don't have to really worry. Is this place going to get raided? Am I going to have an account being frozen by someone? Or am I going to get paid? It would be
Yeah.
nice when that comes to be able to do that. You're down Atlantic City, you're playing poker, you want to go make a wager. Yeah. This country's behind with that.
Yeah,
Sure.
out to eat, or you're just out at a bar. Let's just say you go to a sports bar, Buffalo Wild Wings or whatever. You walk in there, you have your buddies getting a couple beers, getting some wings. You walk over to a bet box, throwing like $200 on the game, and if it wins, you walk right up to the cashier, you hand her the ticket, she bangs it out right there, and you just walk out, and it's that easy. It's really that easy, and this country tries to make it so hard. But somebody brought up the bet box in there. It's just a great phenomenon. Like if you're in Las Vegas, and we've all been there before. It's an NFL Sunday. It's a college football game. It's college basketball. Sometimes you might roll through there, Jeff, 5:30, let's just say, and the game starts at 7. You might have like 2 tellers open and a line of like 20 people. And I always shake my head and be like, why isn't this automated where there'd be like 10 like ATM looking machines, and at any time of the day you just go up and knock your wager out? Like I never understand why you still have to have some person. I guess it's just to cheat you like they do, hey, let me get the over 41. Oh, by the way, it's 41 and a half now. Good. Now give me the under then, you punk. You know what I mean? All
I
automated. Get it
I
done. It's very simple to do, and it's a great invention.
I would think by next summer we'll be able to wager in Atlantic City. I would think. I mean, I think this time we're going to get a pass here.
No, I'm excited for it. Anyway, that was just a little side piece there to bring it up. Just good fond memories of Costa Rica, sitting down in a casino, hitting the bet box, and having your bet done in minutes here. 375, 376, Jeff, Central Florida and SMU. One would think a track meets in play. Central Florida now clearly the team to beat down in Conference USA. 84% of the wagers coming in on Central Florida. Pinnacle opened up that one at 13. Excuse me, did I say Conference USA? Should be the at American Athletic for the Central Florida Knights here, minus 12.5. Line sits now at 14.5, Jeff, versus SMU. Can they be a game dog here and stay within that number? I'm not stepping in front of Central Florida right now.
No, they're the number one scoring offense in the country, 51 points a game. And Donnie, you look at, I mean, analytics and stuff can be irritating and annoying, but it's interesting to look at how efficient UCF truly is with the football. I mean, it really is amazing. I mean, on 48% of their possessions, they score a touchdown. That's number one in the country. Extremely efficient. Mackenzie Milton has the number one completion percentage in the country. They really, Donnie, remind me a lot of Louisiana Tech last year. Louisiana Tech was extremely efficient as well offensively, and they're facing a team that, Donnie, is among the worst pass defense in the country. SMU is really poor against the pass, and what you have to like here also is, I mean, SMU love to throw it around too. I mean, they're not a team that likes to run much at all either. Their quarterbacks have been able to move it around, and UCF is vulnerable, Donnie, to the pass. They're not great against the pass. They're average. They're not great. They're more of a team that likes to stop the run. That's why they were so effective against a Memphis, against a Navy. They also, Donnie, don't get a lot of pressure on the quarterback. They're 105th UCF in sacks per game. They just don't do a great job of really going after the quarterback. I look for Ben Davis and SMU to be really effective as well. I think they'll get into the 30s here. Look, overs have been tough, but this is one conference that normally goes to what you think will happen. I do think UCF will score into the 50s in this game. They just keep going and going and going, and they're an extremely efficient offensive football team, Donnie. Truce within the numbers there. They score a ton of points. They should be able to put plenty up on the board here. This is like a 52 30 type of game, something like that. I think we see a game that gets into the 80s here. And I think UCF will cover, but I think the better play is on the total here.
Yeah, it should be an interesting. It should be a lot of fun one. I mean, you got a lot of weapons going out there, and I'm rooting for Central Florida. It's one of those teams. Scott Frost going to be certainly moving up, maybe even moving up maybe 50, 60 miles, whatever it is, up the turnpike in Florida. Now that the Florida Gators have an open position, I think he would fit in really well there. But obviously, going to be a bidding war to see if Nebraska wants him. There's going to be a couple teams down the line, certainly going to be trying to get after him. 383, 384, Jeff, North Texas. And Louisiana Tech, 54% of the early tickets coming in on North Texas. The mean green line opened up total-wise, Jeff. 67, still sitting around 67. Chris opened up at a -4, still sitting at a -4 here. What can we expect here from the Bulldogs and the mean green, Jeff?
Yeah, I think the wrong team's favored in this game, Donnie. We've seen some of these in the Conference USA this year where, they're just really giving a lot of love to a team that, last year was good or something like that, or they're at home. I don't really understand why La Tech's a favorite in this game. North Texas is really in command of um, their own destiny here, Donnie. If they win this game and the game against UTEP, they will win their side of the division. So it's really up in Seth Luttrell's team's hands here. They have the ability; they're good. Mason Fine's a good quarterback. They have some weapons on offense, and they've been really good. 37 points a game. The issue for them has just been defensively. They're giving up too many points, but this offense for La Tech's had issues all year. Jamar Smith has really had trouble kind of doing things in this offense. They lost a ton of playmakers from last year. Trent Taylor, Carlos Henderson. They have a pretty decent run game, but the passing game just hasn't really gotten going this year. I think for La Tech here, they're not a team I don't think should be favored in this game. Give me North Texas. I think they're a better football team. I think they'll win this game, but I'll take the points in my back pocket. In the case of a team that I just think the wrong team's favored here.
Now, it should be an interesting one. Obviously, a 67 right in that wheelhouse there. Louisiana Tech's going to throw the football around, and we know that three-headed monster that North Texas can provide. And again, North Texas defense hasn't shown up that well over the past couple weeks here. 423, 424, Jeff, Arizona and USC. One of those Pac-12 after. It's a shame, Jeff, because again, Pac-12 after dark, we always make fun of it, and everybody in the Pac-12 gets angry. Well, the reason why we're not ranked higher is because nobody sees us. Well, you would be correct. I don't know what they would put a game on at noon or, oh, well, we don't want to have a kickoff at 12 for a 3 o'clock national game. Well, that's what you get. 7 p.m. kickoff out there for the USC game. This one's going to be a good one between Arizona and USC. Looks like line opening up, Jeff, 73 is a total, now sitting at 74. A touchdown favorite for the USC Trojan. This one they got right last weekend, pounded Arizona State. A little bit more lively of an offense, to say the least, Jeff, coming in for Arizona to test out that USC defense. What are we going to see here from this game? Because the one thing I do like, running that read option, Jeff, you saw it from Notre Dame, the way they were able to expose that USC defense. Can Arizona do the same thing?
Yeah, I think they can, and bettors agree with that. I mean, bettors have really hit Arizona here. This line opened at 10. It's down to 7.5. So you're still getting that hook off 7, which you got to like. USC's 2-7 against the spread this year. This is a huge game in the Pac-12 South, Donnie. Arizona's one game behind USC in the Pac-12 South, and surprising. I mean, with the way USC's played, they're still very much involved in the Pac-12. This is a huge game. But I got to tell you, Donnie, I'm not really looking to step in front of Arizona here. And as an underdog, they kind of remind me, Donnie, a couple years ago, Washington State was literally an underdog in every game at like 7.5 to 10 points. And they were literally covering every game. At some points, even winning the game. They were just covering week after week. Donnie, Arizona, I want to tell you a couple things about this offense. We just talked about UCF. Arizona, first in rush yards per attempt in the country. 7.26 yards a carry. USC's allowing 4.6 yards a carry. It's not a good matchup for USC. They've struggled at times against the run. Western Michigan, Notre Dame, a lot of teams have run all over them. And Arizona, Donnie, they're giving up 301 passing yards a game. So I look for USC to really be able to move the football as well. Arizona, though, back to them. I mean, 2.5 plays per minute both these teams are running. So both these teams are going to run up tempo, Donnie. If you look at that analytical play per minute, they're also top 10 in yards per point and points per minute. That means, Donnie, do you know what that means? It means that they're running quick. They're scoring a lot of touchdowns fast. When you're looking at overs, you got to look at pace. I've said that time and time again. Plays per minute, plays it takes them to score, big play opportunities. these two teams do that. I look for Arizona and USC to go over the total, and I will have a small play here, Donnie, on the Arizona Wildcats to win this game. I think they are for real. Khalil Tate is real, and what he showed in the last game, Donnie, was he was able to throw the football as well. Arizona gives up 600 yards passing in that game against Washington State and still win by 20. Impressive stuff.
No, it is impressive stuff. That's a really good football game at 10 o'clock. And again, one of those bettable games as well, sitting at 7. I lean on the points as well in that football game with Arizona. Jeff, watching the live chat box out here, I mean, just setting up, the table for the IFBC next year. I mean, people want to know, do you have your passport ready to go? I'm asking the question, is work release? They're going to let you get out and let you head on down to Costa Rica? I mean, what's the plan for next August for you?
No, I am able to travel at this point. I'm still waiting for my birth certificate, Donnie. I ordered it on September 4th. I have the email. Still waiting on it to come. It's been 2 months now. Again, all I could do is wait for it, but I'll be there. I'm definitely going to be there this time, for
Jeff,
sure.
the best part
But yeah,
about it, if it's going to be at the it's going to be at the Grand Casino again. A lot of people out there who went down to Costa Rica can attest to this. The showers at the Sheraton saved lives that weekend, Jeff. I mean, they actually saved people's life, including mine as well. You have a little bit too much to drink. You basically had a 1,200-foot shower that had unlimited hot water from a rainfall, attachment there. It literally saved my life showing up for the Saturday morning conference down there. Absolutely.
well,
Man.
Donnie, luckily I don't drink, so I don't have to worry about that. But yes, I'll be there for sure. I'll be there with bells on. I have some plans for my trip there, Donnie. I got all sorts of things coming up. I'm hoping we can get them to work out because I've been talking with Cynthia and all sorts of people. It's going to be amazing. I have a feeling. But yes, I'll be there, and I hope certain people are there as well. We can have a little powwow together.
Big
And I'm
Simon,
looking at
can we
certain
break bread with Big Simon and get him back down there? I think he'll come,
yeah,
won't
and
he?
I'm
Or just
looking
maybe too many bad feelings at this point.
and trust it. I expect certain people to be there. I'm not going to say who they are. It could be good, it could be bad, but I expect them to be there. And I'm hoping Vig Simon's one of them. Vig, a good guy. Well, I'm sure he'll be there. I know he's been busy with his work, but yeah. Hopefully all of you guys can join us, and I'll be there for
And
sure.
I promise if we have to do a presentation or if we have to do a live show again, that hopefully I will have internet this time and not just get shut down. But it was a really good time, just hanging out and getting around. It seems like it was yesterday. August 2nd, whatever it was, 2nd or 3rd. I mean, it was actually a long time ago, and I'm hoping that we get together again or something pops up where we can all get down and enjoy it because I think the location was hilarious and it was perfect. You had a nice hotel, you had a casino right there, you had a bet box. You could drink all you wanted and just stumble up to your room. If you wanted to hit the Octavo Lounge and go up there with all the madness up there, you could do the same. But I just thought it was a perfect location, a perfect time. Really looking forward to going to it next time.
The
And I
thing about
guarantee you, if we had a lot of people in this one, Jeff, probably going to be twice as many at least heading down for the next one.
and Donnie, you can attest. I mean, the internet is an interesting place. You can think you have a way of thinking someone, and you meet them and they're totally different. I pride myself on being a person that I'm the exact same way in person, and you can attest that you've met me.
Mhm.
I I don't need to. I know a lot of people like to drink and party, but for me, um, I'll make you laugh. We'll have fun even without drinking. So I can't wait. I'm excited. I hope to meet all of those guys someday. And yeah, hey, you're always welcome to come see me in Pennsylvania if you want. If anyone wants to meet me,
Come
you can
hang
always
out at
come
a
see me.
Temple game. And yeah, I mean, it'll be really interesting. I actually hope we get the weekend off. What is that? The 2 day, I believe, it was Friday and Saturday, I want to say, or was it Saturday and Sunday? I think it was Friday and Saturday
I
the
definitely want
convention
to.
was.
I'm hoping I would love to see them do something during college basketball, just because that's my kind of big thing. But we'll see. I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully, we can get some going here.
I'm going to ask to take that weekend off, Jeff, so I can just sit back and watch all the entertainment from afar and just take notes myself. You think you're going to have a mainstay? Do you want to get up there and put your way up there, Jeff, and have like a nice little hour slot for yourself to talk to the people about gambling?
I've often said, Donnie, I would love to do that. I would love to, you know, just talk in front of people. Like that's always what I want to do. Like that would be like my dream in this business is to have my own radio show every day, but that would be like second. Like to get up there and just, kind of just take questions. Like that would be like in front of everyone, the whole group. And I just sit up there and tell a story. And yeah, that would be my dream. Sure.
Nah, it should be a lot of fun. But yeah, didn't have much time tonight to talk. A couple interesting topics popped up, obviously going over the NFL deadline here, killing a little bit of time with college football. But do have some games in the MAC tonight, 8 o'clock. I already placed a wager while we were on the air right here, Jeff. I'm going to take a little piece of that Bowling Green line. Already locked in at 2.5 at Bet Online. Looks like there's some 2s out there, maybe at Chris. If I don't even know if anybody can actually bet that at this point in the United States. But Bet Online I do use. I'm going to take the -2.5 in that one, ride that out for a little bit. And still deciding if I'm going to take that Dodger game. Might lay a little bit of wood down on the Dodgers. Might wait, and hopefully maybe the Dodgers might be down 1 or 2 to nothing in that game. Maybe get a plus price on that. But I'm already in on Bowling Green tonight. Not a huge play, but I do like it a little bit. We'll see what happens. Jeff, what are you going to lean on tonight for the people out there in the chat box?
I'm going to go with the LA Dodgers tonight. You and I talked about it. It's definitely a play that I think will come in. I've already bet it. I like the Ohio Bobcats as well, minus the points. And I'm looking at the NBA. I mean, I'll have a play probably. Kind of looking more towards, something. I mean, it's all about the line for me, so I might put that out later. I've kind of breaking even in NBA, that kind of stuff. But yeah, I'll go with the Dodgers in Ohio.
Sounds good. No, it sounds like a plan. Tonight I'll be appearing with Gabe tonight at 10:20. Big man, I think you might be appearing on that show as well. Maybe we can do a little ganging up on Gabe and little stiff arms.
I actually urge everyone to tune into that because Donnie and I will both be on with Gabe. Definitely gonna gang up on him tonight. Sure, that's a good point.
Now, the good part about that is too, because Jeff's single guy. He can stay on long, which since there's 2 guests there, I'm able to dip out a little bit earlier. So I do appreciate Jeff. He can stay on for the long haul. I'll dip in because, guys, I get really tired at that point of night around 10:30. You should have seen me ducking in and out. So Jeff will be able to carry the load for me the rest of the night there on that.
Yeah. Donnie, I'm actually surprised he even does Gabe's show. I mean, that's pretty amazing to me because he usually is asleep literally by, but as far as the NBA, Trung, I don't know yet. I mean, there's only 4 games. I got to look at the numbers here and see. I'll put some on Twitter if I have anything.
Fantastic, folks. I mean, great show again. Love doing the closing line, especially with my partner in crime over there, the big man on campus. Closing line for October 31st, 2017, Halloween. Powered by the good people at sportsbookreview.com. Also, check us out at sbrodds.com. Give us a follow on Twitter if you have not done so yet at SBR Sports Picks. And also subscribe to us on YouTube. Get the notifications. Check out sportsbookreview.com for all your sportsbooks offshore needs. Get the latest updates there. See who's offering the best bonuses. And also get the ratings and anything that could fit exactly what you want as a gambler at sportsbookreview.com. Thanks again for tuning into the show tonight. I'm going to be leaning on Bowling Green tonight, -2.5. We'll see how that works out here. But join me a little bit later along with the big man on campus with Gabe Morency as we have a little bit of fun on Tuesday night. Talk some football, talk some trade deadlines. But that's going to do it for the show tonight. Thanks again for tuning in, folks. Cash those tickets. And again, hey, if you win that wager, let us know about it. Take care, folks.